Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hey,
Can you hear me? Oh, are you still having troubles? Okay, are you still having troubles with your audio? Oh my God. Uh-oh. So sorry about that. Okay, I think you're typing. I'm hoping it's something that can actually be worked on. Okay, sometimes it works and other times it doesn't. Oh no, we have to start. I don't know what we'll do, but we have to start something that would make it work for us. Uh-oh. Were you maybe are you able to take it to a computer technician to check it out to know what the problem is so it can be fixed? Okay, yes, but Ashish did say that you can re uh I'm not sure I understand that. I can do what? I can real okay, I can relay my phone number. Oh, really? He did? Uh, uh oh really? That's weird because it's not in the policy. But okay, not to worry. You just permit me to confirm from him again, so I don't go against the policy. Um, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if it's maybe stressing you for me to go back. It's, it's I'm sorry it's stressing you. I'm you didn't have to remove the car. I'm sorry. Okay. It's comfortable for me. However, definitely if you're working somewhere, you just have to go with the rules. That's it. So that's the policy. Definitely, if you go against the policy, there are usually consequences. So that's why I have to still respect that. I'm sorry. Please bear with me and I hope you understand. I just got off the phone with him and he said as much. Yeah, that's that's it. Sorry. I'm sorry, but why do you want you would always have me in the class. You would always have me in the class. At least we can. Could you type it? Could you type it, please? Sorry, you could just let me know what's the cons. Mark, I'm so sorry. Please. You could open your camera now. You don't need to cover it. At least I'm able to understand you from there. Okay, I understand. Okay, I understand. I'm going to actually have to, yeah, yeah, I understand completely. I actually thought as much, and I knew that it's in relation to our sessions. But okay, I think I want to ask something. Is it just with Zoom? maybe if you're on another platform, maybe something like Google Meet, will you also have the same audio issue? Oh, okay. All right. Please just give me little time. Going to I'm going to discuss with Ashish on this, please, and I'll just get back to you on it. So I believe he would understand. So I'll discuss with him and I'll get back to you. So definitely, all right, thank you. Definitely we can work around it. Yes. All right then. So I think we can just go on. We can go on. You could maybe turn off your camera. Maybe then we can use the chat, or you can leave the camera on so we can use the chat. All right. So were you able to go on with setting up your AWS account? Okay. I'm looking forward to your response. Were you able to create the account? If you are not able to, you can let me know as well. Okay. You previously set up an account with your email address. Okay. Okay, great. Could you share your screen? Let me see. Could you share your screen? Okay, the free period has expired. Oh, okay, that means you'd have to create another one. You'd have to set up another one. If not, you would have to be running on the paid period. And I wouldn't want you to run on the paid period at this time, since you're learning. If you're maybe running on it for business, then it's different. Okay, I can see your screen. Okay, okay, let me text him right now. I wanted to hold on till after the class, but let me text him right now. I understand. Really sorry. Let me text him now, please. I'm texting him now. Okay, got that. Yeah, Mark, I completely understand. I understand. Please. I believed you. I didn't doubt. I just needed to um hear from him too. I understand. Please. I'm going to be sharing it with you. I'm sharing it with you. Please. No, no, not at all. Not at all. Please. I'm sharing it with you now. Here. Oh yeah, Mark, you could you could shoot me a message now so we can have a call so you're not typing so much. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. You could okay, I'm gonna say you could stop sharing your screen. No, no, it's not. I'm in Nigeria. I'm in Nigeria, so it's a Nigerian number. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's foreign to your location. That's right. But you could text on WhatsApp. You don't need to go over a normal phone call. You could text on WhatsApp, then I'll place the code on WhatsApp. Okay. I'm looking forward to your text on WhatsApp. Okay, Mark, are you in the process of texting on WhatsApp, please?
Thank you. Okay, yeah, we can continue. We can continue. You could share your screen. So I would walk you through the account creation. So we can create the account. Let's kick off from there. All right. I think you've tried to, I think you had started the process before. So they've sent a verification code that should be to your phone number. So just go back to the, yeah. Okay. Mhm. They should have seen it. Yeah, we could close this page. No, yeah. All right. So you should receive an email once the account has been activated. But click on this, scroll down slightly. Click on the, okay. I don't think it has been activated yet. It might maybe take a few minutes. Right. So, all right. I wanted, you stopped sharing. I wanted you to click on something, or you stopped sharing. Could you share again, please? Okay, if you go back to that screen, registration confirmation. The third tab, no, not tab one. Yes, that one. All right, scroll down slightly. Oh, no, no, no. No, I mean the third one. The third one, the third tab that has the registration confirmation. Yes, this one. So scroll down. Click on this, go to scroll up again. Scroll up. Uh-uh. Okay, what I want you to click on is this. Yes, that is what I want to click on. I think your audio is trying to come back. All right, so this is what I want you to click on. All right. Okay, so this is the AWS Management Console, right? And this is the GUI. That's the graphical user interface, where you're able to see everything just as it is, the colors, the text. You're able to actually access everything from here. But this is just one way in which you can access AWS. There are other ways. You can also access AWS from the command line interface. So you can, I think from your screen, you're using a Windows system, right? So you have command prompt on your Windows system. So right from command prompt, you can actually access the AWS CLI. And that's something we are also going to look at as we go on with the class. Okay, yes, I can see that it's a Windows system. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. No, you don't even need to run an administrator. So you can actually access AWS from there. But now at this point, you can see just the way it is the terminal. So there's no GUI, there's no color, there's no text, colorful text or anything attractive, right? So it's always best to start learning from the console. Then as you've gone a while using the console, you can now start the using the GUI because that is sorry the CLI, because that way you're able to at least have an understanding of what you're doing. It's like doing something over time on something very visible, and then they ask you to maybe do it. It's like for example, I think when I don't know if maybe this happened to you when you were younger and they told you eat, and when you're eating, it's easy for you to open your eyes and you know where your mouth is and the food enters into your mouth. And then when they tell you, oh, close your eyes and put the food, you're still able to locate your mouth because you're already used to eating with your eyes open. So that's just exactly what it is. So it starts with the GUI where we can see things clearly. And then as we go on, we'll now move to the CLI where you run a few commands as well from the CLI. So you get to understand what it is, like using AWS from there too. So if you have any work and the work demands that you work from the CLI, you're not oblivious of how to do that, but you actually know how to do it as well. All right, so you can take out command prompt. You can take out command prompt. All right, all right. So I think at this point, is it possible for you to maybe for us to have that call? I would want to share my screen and I would want us to actually make it conversational. You could stop sharing your screen. Is it possible for the call to happen? Yes, yes, WhatsApp. Yeah, WhatsApp works. All right, great. All right, no problem. I would love to hear from you, so no problem. I'll wait. Mm. Or if you're having any difficulty, you could share your own number and I'll shoot you a message. All right, got that. Okay, I should wait. Okay. Okay, what's the country code? Plus, okay, plus 1 year. All right, just to be sure. Yeah, all right, thank you. Okay, I've just sent a message to you. All right, I can go on to call you, right? You're fine with that. I can call. All right, your call is coming. All right. Hi, Mark. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me on the Zoom call. Um, I think WhatsApp is reconnecting. I'm not sure why. I'm calling again though. Oh, okay. I thought as much because I know it's not a problem of network. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so I think I'll just go ahead. It's well, it's fine. I believe that as we go on, everything is just going to become very smooth. Yeah. All right. So just like you said, cloud definitely just has to do with some remote connection, which is done over the internet. So it just simply means that we have to connect to something, or another way we can actually put it is that we have to connect to something that is not our own. So this is something that is owned by someone else, and we have to connect to it from where we are. And for us to be able to connect to it, okay, yeah, it's well. Okay, okay, you can hear me, right? Okay, all right, great. Let me see the screen again. All right, so we are having to connect to um someone else's system, right? Which we can maybe date it back to how it was before. I don't know if you had that experience where you had to, if you want to use the computer, you have to go to maybe a cafe. In Nigeria, we usually called it a cyber cafe. I don't know if you had that experience. So we'd go to the cyber cafe and we'd use, yeah. So that's somewhat cloud because we are going to use something that is not ours. However, currently, we wouldn't say that per se because at this time, we don't have to go to that physical location, but we can stay wherever we are, and with the help of the internet, we can connect to that system. So, cloud computing, right, which is the definition that you would most likely see everywhere. Cloud computing now is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. So it means that we are accessing, okay, okay. Were you trying to say something? Your hands moved. I wanted to be sure. Okay, all right. It means that we are accessing services. Now, these services we are accessing are in a physical location. These services are in a data center. It's beautiful that you're already in IT, so you have that understanding, right? So these services are already in a data center, and we have the services like the databases, the servers, the web servers, the networking, a lot of other things. So we can access these services on demand. which is the beautiful thing about cloud computing and why lots of companies are migrating to cloud, because they don't have to own these servers. So right from where they are, they don't have to start thinking of, maybe someone wants to start a business, right? They don't have to start thinking of, oh, let's go buy our own servers, or let's go set it up, let's have a server room. They don't have to think of all of that, because all of that is impacting on their innovation or on their profit as well. So instead of thinking about innovation, thinking about making profit, they're rather thinking about how to spend money, buy servers, set up their server room. And that is taking time. That is taking efforts. That is taking a longer time, where we can just quickly use what someone has already established, right? And we have access to these services on demand. So it means as we need them, they are available anytime, any day. We can just use them so far as we have the internet. And we can now pay as we use, which is something beautiful again, because we don't have to pay for everything entirely. If we're using one server, we are paying for one server. If we get to use two, we pay for two. Right. So that is something beautiful again about cloud computing. So I have to go over these basics again, even though I know you may be familiar with it, but I just have to go over it again, because it's good that we start on a soft landing. So when I start coming with other things that are not the basics, you already know that, okay, I can deal with it. If I've dealt with the basics, I can deal with anything else. Yeah. All right, so these are a few benefits of cloud computing. I wish we can go over the call again, but we can't, so let's just go ahead. All right, so the very first thing here says trade capital expense for variable expense, right? Trade capital expenditure for variable expenditure. And this is something that is very key, because the capital expenditure is just like what I explained, whereby we have to, for anybody starting a business, definitely you have to start thinking of the capital. What's the capital I'll need to start this business? And if it's a company starting a business, and definitely this company would need servers running, they have to think about, oh, how much will these servers cost? Oh, how many servers do we need to buy for a start? Okay, how much will it cost us to set it up? Now, all of that is being traded for. So we are not thinking about, oh, how much, how much, how much. So rather, we are now running on a variable expenditure. Or sometimes you can, if it's not variable expenditure, you would see operational expenditure. So we are spending based on the operation that is being carried out. So if operation A is carried out, we pay only for operation A. If operation XYZ is carried out, we pay for operation XYZ. We don't care about ABC, because we are not running on that. So we trade the capital expenditure for the variable or the operational expenditure. And to add to that, it's not here, but to add to that is that we don't have to guess capacity. So there is no need for us to start thinking, okay, 50 servers, will 50 servers be enough? Okay, no, 100 servers. Oh, okay, no, 150 servers. Oh, what about if there is what about if there is high traffic? Okay, 200. No, we don't need to guess all of that, because the cloud is already helping us do the mathematics. The data center has been set up by the cloud service provider. In this case, let's say AWS, since we are focused on AWS. So AWS has already set up the data center. All we have to do is just come and make use of this data center. Right. So that's for the first benefit. Now for the second benefit, which is scalability. Now, scalability too is a really beautiful benefit of using the cloud, which just simply means we can provision the right amount of resources that we need. So if we want to buy, or if we want to use 5 eggs, it means, okay, we can use 5 eggs. If there is a need for us to maybe use 10 eggs, we don't need to start running down to the grocery store or the supermarket to say, oh, give me 5 more eggs. Let me add to my 5. We can still stay on from the comfort of our home, and this has been provisioned. All right, I'm back. So 5 eggs, I really appreciate that you're sharing your screen. It really gives the feel of, yes, I know you're following, and it's really helping me. Thank you. All right. You can hear me, right? You can just give me a thumbs up. All right, great, great. All right. So just like I was using eggs, so we can just stay there. If we need 10 eggs and we just have 5, the 5 can become 10. We don't need any manual movement to say, oh, let's start driving out, or let's start walking to the store or to the market where we need to get these things. We don't need to do all of that, because the cloud has given us this scaling leverage where we can auto scale, we can automatically scale. There are some services that may require manual scaling, right? But the most of the services running in the cloud run on what's it called, on auto scaling, where it scales automatically. But when it comes to few services, there are few services that are that still require the human touch, right? There are few services, and when it gets to that time, I would mention it to you. So, but most of it runs with the auto scaling. Now, we have 2 types of scaling: the vertical scaling and the horizontal scaling. The vertical scaling and the horizontal scaling. Now, think of a situation whereby, let's say, okay, let me use your system. You're running on a Windows system, right? And that system, let's say the RAM size for your system is 8 gig. And you discover that, oh, this system is 8 gig. It's running slowly. Maybe my applications are loading up slowly. And the advice that the computer technician gives is, oh, why don't we increase your RAM size? So we can increase your RAM size from 8 gig to 16 gig. And you're like, oh, good, awesome, let's go for it. So that increment from 8 gig to 16 gig is a form of vertical scaling, whereby you are increasing the capacity of that resource, in this case, the RAM. But when it comes to horizontal scaling is not necessarily you increasing the resource, the capacity of a particular resource. Rather, let's say you discover that, oh, your system is running on 8 gig. Instead of increasing the RAM, you just buy another system. You possibly buy another system running on 16 gig. So instead of you, maybe you're like, oh, this system 8 gig, no, I don't want to increase it, let me leave it there. You just get another full server, another full computer, and you add to your existing computer. That's the horizontal scaling. So I like to say it this way, that horizontal scaling is adding server to server, adding server to server, server to server. But vertical scaling is just adding the compute resource to the existing compute resource. So the compute resource there are things like your RAM, your CPU, your storage capacity. So that is you adding compute to compute for vertical scaling. But now horizontal scaling is you adding servers to servers. All right, so I'll just pause. Let me hear from you. I think you're writing. All right, so do you understand that? You can give me a thumbs up. Awesome, awesome. All right, great. All right, so the next thing is speed and agility. Speed and agility. So this is still around what we've been saying. So when it comes to speed and agility, it just simply means that we are able to spin up our resources as we need them, whenever we need them. We can easily set up a virtual machine right now, and in the space of 2 minutes, we've gotten one. But if you compare it to getting a virtual machine physically, that will take some time because we need to possibly place an order or reach out to the company that we want to get it from, and then it's being processed. If it's not in our location, then we need to wait for it to be delivered and all of that. But from where you're sitting down now, I can say, oh, Mark, spin up 5 servers, and in less than 5 minutes, everything is running. That's another benefit of the cloud, where we have speed and agility. And the next one, which is the deploy globally in minutes. So with the cloud, we are not limited to a particular place. So I'm not sure where which city you are exactly, but let's say you're in Texas. We don't need to maybe run our business and say, oh, only the people in Texas can have access to this business. People all over the world are able to access your business. And in minutes, there is a service which we'll look at. It's called CloudFront, Amazon CloudFront. With Amazon CloudFront, you're actually able to deploy across different locations. And the beautiful thing about it is that your data is being cached in different locations, so that if you have maybe customers in the US, those customers don't have to go to let's say primarily where your website, for example, is being hosted is somewhere in Asia, and you have customers in the US. When you've deployed that system through CloudFront, now when your customers in the US are trying to reach your website, they don't have to go all the way to Asia, because the content of your website has been cached in a server in the US. So they are rather getting that content from the server in the US instead of reaching all the way to Asia to get it. So that way, even if you have a global audience, a global market, from anywhere you're serving them, nobody is going to complain of lag or a delay in your website loading or all of those things, because you have deployed properly, efficiently, and that happens in minutes, which is another benefit of cloud. Right. Okay, let me pause. So up to this point, you understand completely, yeah? Okay. Since I'm not really stressing. Okay. All right, all right. All right, no problem, Mark. I'm waiting. At a point, you were nodding your head. I felt like maybe some music was playing and you were vibing to it. Okay. All right. Okay, I can call you now. All right, great, great. Okay. Okay, I'm calling. Are you online yet? Oh, okay. It's not ringing yet, but I'm calling. Yes. Mark, if you can, try calling me from your end. It's not ringing on mine. It's calling, but it's not ringing yet. Okay, Mark, I'm not sure you're online yet. You know the usual double tick that WhatsApp will give. It's just giving a one tick. But in case you are, you can try calling me. I should be able to see your call. Yeah. Okay, I'm just seeing you drop something in the chat. Sorry. Okay, yeah. All right, so let's just go on. At least your camera is on, so it's helping. All right, so let's look at another subheading, something very important as well. All right, so let's look at cloud deployment models. Okay, we went to get your book. All right, so let's look at cloud deployment models. So when it comes to cloud, definitely, it just simply means that there are things we are bringing in. There are things we have to, I'm trying to think of the best word to use, but let me just use bringing in, because if we are leveraging on someone else's infrastructure, definitely we're not just looking at them. Okay, I think you've gotten up. waiting. Okay, welcome back. All right. So if we're talking about cloud deployment modules, yeah, definitely when it comes to the cloud, we are taking something into those servers, right? So the question is how can we where, or let me say where, not how. These things that we are taking, where are we going to take them to? Yes, it's the data center, it's the servers, but what's the level of control we would have over these things? If we are talking about data, maybe 10,000s of data, what's the level of control we would have over this data? Who would be able to manage this data for us? So if we are taking something into the cloud, where will it be exactly? Who will manage it? Who will control it? These are some things we have to ask. So before you deploy anything into the cloud, you have to ask these certain questions, and let's just look at them. So number one method of cloud deployment is the public cloud. It's the public cloud, and this is primarily what we are learning. And the public cloud is the most popular because it is available to anybody. Anybody can access it from any part of the world. It's as simple as you setting up your AWS account. Just the way you sat down and you've created an account. That is you leveraging on the public cloud. So because you have access to the internet, you have been able to access these services that is provided by a cloud service provider, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, DigitalOcean, IBM, and a lot of other ones out there. That's Google Cloud. So that's public cloud rather. And in as much as it's public cloud, we have to also understand that the customer's data is isolated. Let me pause and talk about something for a few minutes. You know about virtualization, right? Okay. I would have told you to explain, but let's let's go ahead. All right. So like in virtualization, where let's say you're running on a Windows system, we are running on a Windows system, and we are running on the computer, and that computer is running Windows, maybe Windows 11. It doesn't stop us from running on another operating system, because with virtualization, we are able to run on these different virtual machines while still having our host machine, which is our Windows 11. So I can decide to run on Ubuntu still on that same system. And the fact that I'm running on Ubuntu does not impact my Windows 11. So all my applications, all my files in Windows 11 are there. When I go to Ubuntu, all my files, all my applications in Ubuntu are there. There is no conflict with Ubuntu and Windows 11. So I can access the files there in Ubuntu, and I can access the files in Windows 11. It's the same thing with the public cloud. The fact that everybody has access to this public cloud does not mean that, okay, Mark can see what Anne is running on her public cloud. If I don't give Mark access, Mark won't be able to see it. If Mark doesn't give me access, I won't be able to see what Mark is running. So the public cloud, yeah, it's good. However, the cloud service provider in this case is the one responsible for the physical security. Nobody can just wake up and walk into the data center in Ohio. Nobody can just walk into it because there is that environmental security that has been set. the cloud service provider is the one that has set that physical security. So it is not in the control of the customer. The customer will not say, oh, I want the server to be to be blue. Let me just use that example. Give me the blue server. No. So if AWS says it's black servers you're using, it's black. So you don't have control, right? So now some benefits. It's highly available anytime, anywhere. We can actually enjoy the capital expenditure movement to the operational expenditure movement, whereby we don't have to set up our own hardware, we don't have to set up our own data center. We are leveraging on what the CSP, which is cloud service provider, has provided. We can also work with the pay-as-you-go pricing model. There is no upfront fee. AWS or Azure will not tell you before you use our account, you have to pay $200. They won't tell you that. Even if you come with $0 or okay, at least, I think $1. No, it shouldn't be zero. At least $1 running in your account. Yeah. So even if you come with $1, you can still go ahead to start using some services. You can enjoy high reliability, you can enjoy high scalability. However, when it comes to the limitations, you don't have control of these systems. So there is still some level uh uh of control that you don't have. And some people may be concerned about data security. And that's why we have the next one. Sorry. That's why we have the next one, which is the private cloud. Now, when we come to the private cloud, we are talking about how that an organization exclusively owns this. It is used by, let me not say, it is used by this organization. So if Apple decide to have their own servers, Google will not say, oh, Apple, let us share. Because this private cloud is meant for Apple. So the customer can decide to either run this or have this cloud in their own building, or they can even have this cloud in the data center, maybe AWS, where they can contact AWS and AWS can set up something for them. Or they can decide to have it in their own building or their own environment. But this is owned by one person. So not everybody has access to this. Right. So this also gives you some level of security because you know that, oh, this is my own. Nobody has access to this. Sorry about that. So this is my own. Nobody has access to it. So it gives some level of security. It gives some level of control as well. However, some limitations will be the capital because you definitely need some capital to set up that. All right. Then the next one is the hybrid cloud. Now, when it comes to hybrid cloud, it's just very simple, like the word hybrid. It's both the combination of the private and the public. So this method actually offers flexibility because let's say an organization, they have very sensitive data. They can decide to run that very sensitive data on their private cloud. And maybe the information that is not very sensitive, that one can be run on the public cloud. And definitely, we are going to look at some services whereby you can be running on the public cloud and you can still share those resources on the private cloud. So there can still be that interconnection between the private and the public, and that is hybrid. So the fact that maybe you're running on the private cloud does not mean, oh, you can't share resources from your private cloud to the public cloud. You can do that, and there are services that can allow for that. Now, another one is a community cloud. Now, this community cloud, think about a community actually. Let's say organizations that have similar vision or similar goals, interests. Maybe health organization. There are about 5 health organizations and they have similar interests. So instead of each of them building their own infrastructure, they can come together and say, okay, why not we do this together? So we can share our infrastructure across board. But definitely doing this, it comes with a high level of trust. And definitely you have to have shared interest. If you don't have shared interest, it's like saying you want to start a business with your enemy. You can't exactly go and start a business with your enemy because there'll be lots of fights. But if the person has similar interests with you, it's much more easy because we can align. So that's the community cloud. And the next one is the multi-cloud. Okay. All right. Yeah, I've gone back. Okay, I should go. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, so the next one is the multi-cloud. Now, multi-cloud is just simply using different public cloud providers. So a company can decide that we want to run our storage on AWS. We want to maybe deploy the websites that we have or the mobile applications that we have on Azure. We want to maybe train our AI models on GCP. So they are actually leveraging different cloud providers, maybe because of cost. Maybe a particular service on Azure is slightly cheaper than the one on AWS. So because of that, they will decide to go with Azure. So they are basically combining different cloud providers and they are leveraging them for their workload. All right. So these are things you would have to consider, and the company has to say, okay, would run all our workload on the public cloud. Okay, no, why don't we run on the hybrid cloud? So these are things that would be considered because you would have to think about the level of control you would have. You'd have to think about the amount that you also have, the money that you have, the security as well. So if you know that, okay, you're really big on security, then why not? The private cloud is for you. Right. Okay, so let's go on. So we have the next subheading, which is the cloud service models. Some people tend to call it types of cloud computing, but basically you can call it that or you can call it the cloud service models. All right, so the very first one is the IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Now, again, when we talk about these cloud service models, we will further talk about the control that you have. Sorry. All right. Now, when it comes to cloud service, when it comes to infrastructure as a service, think about it from this point. Let's say someone, I'm thinking of the best approach to use. Someone give you a land, and on that land, the person said, oh, Mark, build whatever you want to build, but I've given you the land. So now you have the land. So you don't have control over the land per se because it was given to you by someone. So what you can say is, oh, thank you. But what you have control over is what you are building on that land. So if the person gave you 1 acre, you won't say, oh yeah, oh, me, I don't want 1 acre, or give me 5 acres. The person has given you one. So it's easy to just say, oh, thank you for the one. So on that one, you would now build whatever you want to build. Oh, I want to build a duplex. I want to build a 5-story building. I want to build a bungalow. Whatever, you have control over that. Now, it is similar to IaaS, that's infrastructure as a service. So think about how you want to run your workload. And this workload, you have to set up an infrastructure for it. So you start thinking about things like the operating system, things like the data, things like the storage, things like the what else? The memory, the runtime. You will start thinking about these certain things. What operating system will I run on? What storage capacity will I run on? What how many virtual CPUs will I run on? You are thinking about these things. Now, IaaS gives you control over setting these things. So if you're coming to maybe run your workload, you will know that, okay, I am going to run on Ubuntu. I don't want to run on Windows. I would run on Ubuntu. Okay, I want my storage capacity to be 20 gigabyte. Okay, I also want my virtual CPUs. I want about 8 virtual CPUs with a 20 gigabyte server and with a server running on Ubuntu. You have given the details. This is what you want. So you are the one that has control over those things. Nobody is setting it for you. So when you get the only thing you're getting from the cloud is the server. But when the server comes, you will set the security on that server. You will, okay, can you say that again? I should give you 3 minutes. Okay. All right. Let me take water. Be back. All right. Okay. I wanted to say I'm back.